thought because I simply could not bear to think that. So I went to cyanidetest.com and ordered a kit and I tried it. Now look at the graphics and the video on this page. Now here are the results of my test.
Ooh, hold on.
Shit really killed this one, bro.
Yo, what's good with y'all boys, man? First video. Today I'm gonna be reacting to 5 most disturbing Reddit threads. You know, it's a 28-minute video. If I look dark, it's because I don't got a light right now. I'm still trying to do that, but so far everything's looking good. Hopefully the mic is good. And yeah, let me go get a snack real quick. Hold on. Go get a snack real quick. Y'all do too. We back. I'm gonna show y'all what I got. I got a fruit cup, and a pudding. Some people don't like pudding. I don't know why it's not good. Haven't had it in like a few years though. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm let me do this. Close my blinds a little bit. Make it dark in here. See if y'all can see me. All right. Let's get it, man. Oh, like, comment, subscribe, and shout out to the big man above, man. Let's go.
Needs $700,000. On November 6, 2015, a Reddit user named Bangarang made a deeply concerning and odd post on the site reading, "Need $700,000. What do? I need it by January 2016 or I'm dead from the mob. What are my options though?" Now, if this was posted in subreddits like r/advice or r/helpme, people would have taken it more seriously. However, for whatever reason, Bangarang decided to post this plea for help in r/sadboys. This is a subreddit for the fans of the Sad Boys music collective that emerged in the early 2010s, primarily associated with Swedish rapper Young Lean and his music groups.
Hey, do y'all be on Reddit like that? Look, Reddit fell off, but I just be looking, like, whenever I search something up, it be that person from like 10 years ago that be coming in clutch, you feel me?
Sad Boys. So a completely unrelated post like this left most people confused about what it meant. Not sure if this is real. So confused. What is this? Some users wondered if this was some obscure reference to Sad Boys music. Is this a reference to Lean being worth $700,000? However, most users quickly realized that Bangarang was serious when he began responding to some of the less serious joke comments with sincere replies. "Let me ghostwrite your next mixtape. I need all the help I can get." But that's when the post took a disturbing turn. One user jokingly told the OP to end it by jumping off a bridge and shoot himself while falling. However, instead of getting offended, Bangarang...
My bad, bro. I was checking something with the, see if y'all can hear it. That's my fault. Let's get back into it, though.
Something that made everything way more unsettling. Think they'll get to me before I can make any moves. Alongside this, he posted a link to an eerie photo. A group of men standing in the middle of a street with multiple cars lined up behind them. The way the photo was framed suggested that OP took it while hiding in the bushes, as if he was watching from a distance, afraid to be seen. At this point, people wanted answers. And after some back and forth in another thread, Bangarang finally explained what had gotten him into this situation. "Was involved in a fight where an 18-year-old kid was killed. I was on drugs and had a bad temper. I was always protective of my friends, especially John. John was in a band and was taking off. He had a Facebook page, so he deactivated it. He made a new one. One of his friends that made a new one got real mad that he deleted the old page and thought he didn't want anything to do with her or his old friends because of the new fame and band. John tried to explain to her that wasn't the case. When he tried to, I peered over John's shoulder, read their texts, and got heated. I started trash-talking the girl. She got her boyfriend's friends to meet me and my friends out in the desert for a brawl. One of the guys there was with the gang members' guys group and pulled out a gun to shoot me and my friends. One of my friends grabbed the gun from him and ended up shooting the guy and killing him, the dude that pulled out the gun in the first place. Then, after the fight, I violated my probation. The cops were already after me for drug use. They found out I was involved in the fight and the shooting of the guy, and they added the battery charge. I wasn't charged with murder, but was involved in the fight, which is why they added assault and battery charges, plus the probation violation. But I continued with drug use and violated my probation by leaving the state. Now I'm sobered up, I just turned 23, and I'm in a real bad place with some people from the past. While these responses provided some important context for OP's situation, it still didn't explain why the mob was after him now or how having $700,000 would help him stay alive. By this point, people had stopped joking. It was clear that this was most likely real. One user finally spoke up, saying what everyone else was thinking. First of all, why are you posting this here? Second, run, get out of town. To which OP replied, I got no one. After learning about his sheer helplessness, user PizzaMan2345 chimed in with some detailed and practical advice to help Bangarang escape with his life. Get yourself into jail and tell them to safely escort you to an airport afterwards. If you warn them about the mob and spread the word, the police will look stupid if you die soon afterwards. Then, if you do get to the airport, take several planes to several places and settle down somewhere far away. No matter how uncaring a police department is, they should listen to your plea for help. It might also help if you have a writer friend who can tell the whole story if they don't escort you. Let the police know as a last resort that they will be flamed online for not dealing with the mob themselves and for letting you loose, only for you to die right after. This of course involves you being in jail for a while, which if not the case leads me to say that you should simply leave the country now. Use your head, don't drug your problems away, either work hard and loan the rest or just run. Unfortunately, we'll never know if this advice helped him or not. A day after making the original post, Bangarang stopped replying to any more comments and hasn't posted anything on Reddit since. As for if the story was legit or not, we have no way of knowing for sure. The Bangarang account was likely a throwaway since it was created the same day as the post. I also tried reverse image searching the picture he posted, and while there are many similar looking images online, I couldn't find anything that matches the OP picture to a T.
Hey, dang. What do y'all think, bro? Look at me. I think it might be true. I don't think, even though he was on drugs, I don't think that he would be just creating something up, you feel me? Definitely, like me, I wouldn't type all that out. That's just me, though. And also, I wouldn't be, if the mob was after me, I'd be off to China, bro, off to Japan, Puerto Rico. Like, I wouldn't be next year. What about y'all, though?
And predated the Reddit thread. And since Bangarang didn't provide any clues about his location, I couldn't find any relevant news articles from that time either. Most users under the original thread believe the OP was likely caught and killed by the mob.
Yeah.
However, it's been over 9 years since the original post with no updates since, and I doubt we'll ever learn the truth.
Bro, I forgot the... Okay, hold. Alright, y'all boys, man. My fault for keep on leaving. I ain't gonna lie. My bad. But let's go, though.
Dog operation. On the 31st of March, Reddit user City, State posted a disturbing entry on the Reddit Bureau of Investigation subreddit. The title of the entry was, "What could have been the reason why someone operated on my dog?" It read, I originally posted this to another sub, now deleted, and was insisted that I repost this here instead. I live alone in a suburban area, and when I go out, whether it's for work, social gatherings, shopping, or whatever, I leave my dog, he's a Labrador, to play in my backyard with plenty of food and water. He's a pretty healthy dog, normal weight, and had nothing wrong with him. I would say I live in a pretty safe neighborhood and never had anything bad happen to my dog while I was away. Yesterday, I came back home from work in shock to see that my dog had been stitched up. In shock, I immediately rushed to him, called and took him to a vet. I visited the vet for checkups, so the vet knows him. Strangely, the doctor who was inspecting him said that whoever was operating on him actually did a pretty good job, and for whatever reason took out part of his fat. The wounds are of both his lower and upper belly, pictures here. Luckily, he isn't in any danger, but the doctor said he would be in some pain for some weeks, normal for wounds. I was prescribed painkillers and antibiotics for my dog. I was also given a cone for him to wear so he wouldn't lick his wounds. Naturally, I asked him if a Labrador came into the vet today, as in yesterday, and he and the receptionist said no, and they said to their memory it's the first time they saw my dog that day. So this got me and my doctor thinking, either someone operated on him or someone took him to another vet and got him operated for whatever reason.
Wait, what?
In the meantime, I have reported this to the police and have called other vets around my town, and
Did somebody... I'm confused.
no luck as of yet. Due to this, I am still unsure what could have caused this. Who and why would someone take parts of fat out of my dog? I don't have any...
Did someone go into her house and take... Did someone go in her backyard, get the dog, take the fat out, or did somebody... Because she just said that she went out, she put her dog... She left her dog in the bag, and then she came back, saw the dog, took her to the vet, and then she's saying that I'm confused, bro.
Any enemies nor any past relationship partners come to mind who may do this. I've also spoken to some neighbors and they said they didn't notice anything strange around the neighborhood or near my house. I also don't have any cameras. People on Reddit quickly began speculating on what could have happened. Some wondered if this was the work of a medical student looking to practice or a budding serial killer. However, neither of these makes much sense. No sane medical student would risk ruining their career by operating on a random dog when there are safer options like ethically sourced cadavers. As for the potential serial killer theory, why would they cut open a dog only to stitch it back and return it to the owner instead of just disposing of the body? But there were some more reasonable theories as well, stating that the dog must have injured its stomach while jumping over the fence. Someone then saw the wounded dog and took it to the vet for treatment before leaving it back in OP's yard.
So someone did go in the bag, saw the dog, took him. Okay.
Or maybe the dog successfully jumped over the fence only to get hit by a car, and the person driving the car took it to the vet and dropped it off after the operation. However, a major flaw in both theories is why the person who took it to the vet didn't leave a note explaining the situation. If it was an accident, maybe the person didn't want to get in trouble. But even then, leaving an anonymous note would have been the right thing to do. Some users also consider the possibility that someone might have shot the dog with a pellet gun, either by accident or on purpose. A comment from user Banana Phone quickly rose to the top as it offered a more plausible explanation for what might have happened during the OP's absence. That rubber thing sticking out appears to be a Penrose drain, which is most commonly used to allow a wound to weep and drain through the hole where it comes out of the skin, which prevents the skin from closing into a pocket and turning into a huge infected abscess, which requires secondary treatment and antibiotics. This is most commonly seen in my personal professional experience after bites from another animal, as the bacteria in dog/cat mouths can be difficult to totally disinfect after the fact and often leads to abscesses. While the general consensus is that dog mouths are cleaner than cats, there's still plenty of bacteria in your average dog's mouth that could lead to infection. That drain will need to be removed in a few days to a week after the risk of infection is passed. My guess would be, with the size of the incision, another dog got into a fight with yours, whether it jumped the fence into your backyard and picked the fight itself, or somehow your dog was accidentally able to be out of his fence, and the owner felt guilty but did not want to get sued or put their dog down. I double this hypothesis because if they put him back, they knew where he lives, and that means he was probably inside the fence when the incident occurred, and hiding the conflict probably means his dog has a history of aggression, to the point where it jumped your fence and attacked. I suspect a pellet/gunshot less because anyone who would shoot a dog in its own yard is probably not going to have the moral compass to get it treated. Another user, Decent Writer, also backed this theory with a personal anecdote reading, "I'm almost 100% sure someone who has a dog with a bite history attacked your dog and they did not want to get caught. I have a dog with a bite history. If he bit someone or an animal a second time, it would be disastrous, and myself and my partner would both be in jail. They likely got off with a small charge the first time and are on probation, already paying out a ton of money to whoever was the first victim and cannot risk a second person suing them. We've been going through the process for our one dog bite for over 2 years. It has been miserable every single step of the way, and I'm sure that's what has happened here. I'm sorry, it sucks so much. Hopefully they feel guilty and come forward to you one day. In which case, you have 2 years from the day of the incident to sue them in a civil court case. I know this because I'm on the other side of that civil lawsuit as we speak." That said, after further questioning from other users, the OP shared additional details about the situation, debunking many of these theories in the process. Edit. People have been asking about my fencing. I'm about 5'8", and the main fencing is taller than me. The side fence is about half my height. However, there are other properties around those fencing.
Hey boy, dogs do have hops though. Dogs do got hops, so that a fence could be 6'1", a dog, you know what I mean?
So if another dog, for example, got in, I would think the neighbors would have noticed, as the other dog would have needed to go through their properties first before reaching mine. People also are asking if my dog is known for jumping over stuff. No, he's not. So that's why I don't think he hurt himself while jumping over the fence. But that doesn't mean another dog jumped over to him. One of my neighbors, right next to the one of my shorter fence, has a dog of his own. But it's a small poodle, and I don't think they could have done that to a Labrador.
Who did it?
Plus, neither of them has shown aggression to each other, from what I've seen. They usually don't even pay each other's mind. No other organs are missing, according to the vet, just the fat removal. It was not a car crash. He has no bones broken, bruises, or anything like that. There was blood, but only around him, normal amount, not anything crazy. So either someone did it and cleaned it, or it was done elsewhere. The picture was taken the day after the vet, the day I made this post, after they examined and gave him a proper clean around the wounds. At least one of my neighbors in the surrounding fencing has a camera, to my knowledge. The footage has been examined by the police and myself, and we couldn't see anything out of the ordinary. The police said they will be going around to see for any other footage.
Then she did it.
However, with this additional information, the OP mentioned something that made many people question whether any of this was real to begin with. They mentioned that they were gone out for work from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. for 5 hours, which is not typically enough time for someone to take their dog to a vet, get a complete surgery, and drop it back without getting caught. As one user pointed out, "This whole thing strikes me as suspicious. I've worked in both private practice and ER. OP says they were gone for 5 hours. Even if it happened right when they left, 5 hours is a really short amount of time for this size of wound repair when you factor in anesthesia, sedation, clipping, cleaning. Sometimes takes longer than the actual suturing to remove hair, debris, dirt, etc. Then flushing and cleaning the wounds, cutting the skin to remove sections that wouldn't heal well, then actually suturing it, including drains, post-anesthesia/sedation recovery. White dogs plus a bunch of blood requires a bath to remove all the blood. Not to mention the time it takes to get the dog there, check the dog in, get consent for treatment, discharging and explaining meds, paying for it, getting the dog back to OP's yard." But this makes me wonder if it could have been done in this time frame if the surgery wasn't done at a professional veterinary hospital. Maybe the person involved in the incident had a surgical background and did everything themselves off the books. However, this is all speculation, and unfortunately not long after this update, the
Boy, she did it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, she did it. There's no way. And why would you delete your account too? Come on now. Like at first I thought, okay, maybe another dog jump over, did him, fa. But then I was thinking like, why would the owner? I don't know. She did it though.
OP deleted their account and didn't post any new updates on what happened.
She did it.
But before that, the OP did make a post stating that the police were investigating this as a criminal case. However, given their complete silence over the past 4 years, it's unlikely we'll learn if anything ever came of that. Fraudulent nurse.
Let's see this.
On January 16th, 2021, user Pagan Princess 22 made a Reddit post recounting her strangely terrifying experience at a hospital. The post read, "A woman posing as a nurse stole my blood from an Indiana, USA emergency room in 1996 or 1997 when I was 5 or 6 years old. Hello everyone, I'm not sure if this is the correct place, so please feel free to direct me to a better subreddit if there is one. I've flared it as a cold case because it happened 23 years ago, but there were no charges filed, to my recollection, and I don't remember a case being made from it. This is a strange story, and I was 5, maybe 6 when it happened, so I don't have a lot of the details. I had recently told my younger sister about this story, and she encouraged me to look into the incident more and see if I could find out either who this person was or if there was a larger pattern of behavior during the time frame. I'm interested in any information you all have to offer / can find on the matter, as I truly just want to satisfy some curiosity. I'm 99% sure any statute of limitations is up, and I'm not interested in reporting something so weird and from so long ago to the police for them to tell me there's nothing that can be done."
Could you sue something that happened 23 years ago to you? So let's say you get raped, right? You know what I mean? And that happened when you was 5 and now you're 30 something. All those years passed, that man is still alive. Could he go to jail for that? Like I'm being so like it's a genuine question. If y'all know, put it in the comments, but
now onto the story. When I was around 5 or 6, I got a pretty bad nosebleed that wouldn't stop. I eventually started throwing up big clots of blood as well, and my mother took me to the ER. This would be in / around the Sunman or Indianapolis area in Indiana, USA, but I do not know the name of the hospital. At the time, beds were separated only by curtains on ceiling racks and not individual walled rooms. My mother had left my room to speak to a doctor. I know she left, and a woman I did not know came in shortly after she left. She was white, had medium brown hair, and looked to be in her 20s or 30s. She was wearing a blue scrub shirt with puppy dogs on it and unmatched pants. I want to say she was not wearing scrub pants, but rather jeans or maybe sweatpants. I know they did not match her shirt, which stood out to me. The other nurses and doctors I saw only wore solid colored scrubs and were all matched. She said she needed to take some blood and pulled the tools to do so from her scrub pockets, not a phlebotomy cart. She stuck me and started drawing blood, somewhere around 5 to 7 vials of it, but potentially more. On the last vial, we heard my mom and a doctor coming back towards the room. She hurriedly ripped the tube from my arm before the last vial was full. It spilled some blood. She did not give me a band-aid or gauze. She just left me bleeding and shoved everything back into her pocket, then ran from the room. She ran to the left, and my mom and doctor entered from the right. The doctor said a nurse would be with me soon to draw some blood and run some
She's
tests.
weird, bro.
I told him a lady had already taken my blood, and he asked what she looked like and where she went. I described her. He turned wide-eyed to my mother and said, "She doesn't work here," and ran out of the room to the left. I heard some loud voices, there was a lot of commotion, but I don't remember anything past that point other than just feeling dizzy and now scared that some strange woman had my blood. I've never been able to find out what happened, who this woman was, and if she was ever caught, or if this type of thing was happening across the country at the time. I have no idea. Let me know if there's any other information I could provide to make it easier to find out what happened to my blood. Edited a typo and to add, my mother is not a great source of information when it comes to my early life, or her life, or anything really, as she has some of her own issues. Several years ago, when I was a teenager, confirmed the details I remembered, then refused to talk further about it and asked me not to bring it up again. She claims she does not remember the name of the hospital, the name of the doctor, or other details I was asking for at the time. What makes this story so terrifying is how real it feels. Most children are already afraid of doctors and needles, so the idea of someone posing as a nurse to steal blood is horrifying. One user responded with a theory stating, "Are there any chances that you are adopted?" Suggesting that the mysterious woman was OP's real mother who wanted her blood for DNA testing. And while this is still a bit out there, it could explain why OP's mother refused to give any further information on what happened that day.
Hey, bro, I'm finna tell y'all something. Right here, right? I broke my collarbone when I was riding a skateboard to the park. Yeah, y'all know if y'all ever did it. When I was at the hospital, I remember too. It's the same thing as this. Y'all gotta lay down, right? Hey, if y'all see my eyes getting water, I don't know why that is, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. It's every time I watch scary videos, my eyes start to water up. But it's when I was at a hospital after I broke. Thank the Lord that I got surgery the same day. So I was laying down. Cool doctor, by the way. Nothing weird like this happened. Cool doctor, by the way. And how they put you to sleep. If y'all ever go to the hospital, y'all gotta get surgery. They put you to sleep. Do not be scared, bro. They put that thing over your face, you knocked out, and then you just wake back up after it's done, right? Bro, you just sitting right there with all those blankets on you, like it's. If you're a kid, then it's scary. But if you're like a teenager or whatever, it's not that scary. It's low-key chill. I'm not gonna lie. They put that thing over your face. You have people rolling you, and that it's cool, bro. But yeah, bro, stuff like this is definitely a nightmare for some people. It's definitely a nightmare because you don't know who could walk in that. You're just sitting right there naked with the thing on you, bro, and you are naked. I ain't gonna lie. Like someone walks in, bro, you don't know who that could be. You just gotta pray before you go in there, bro. I'm telling y'all, bro. My fault though. Now I like to tell stories. If y'all don't know, I like to tell stories.
However, OP shot down this theory.
It's not a story, that's a real story. That happened. You feel me?
Not long after it was posted with a comment reading, "I don't believe so, no. I've seen my original birth certificate and it lists my known parents as my birth parents. I also look very similar to my mom and sister." The most plausible theory came from user OSnapdragon22, who suggested that OP might be misremembering details that make this situation a lot more horrifying than it actually was, stating, "Nurse here, phlebotomists sometimes wear different scrubs. It seems highly unlikely that someone stole your blood and put them in tubes. Those tubes are full of various additives for different diagnostic testing. If I were to steal your blood, I would use a bag instead. Not like I would steal blood or anything, just making a point.
You don't say that, bro.
It seems highly weird that a civilian would have the necessary tools/tubes to complete this lab draw. Many blood draws are done with equipment carried in scrub pockets, so not having a cart is not atypical."
Bro, this fool acting like she couldn't just... If I'm not wrong, there's tubes right next to you when you're in there. They leave stuff right next to there. You have the blood thingy that's connected to your veins. And then you got the... Not the bag. I don't know what I'm thinking about, but I know they have stuff there for your blood. You feel me? So...
Supplies in hospitals, especially needles, are required to be locked per Joint Commission/DNV for obvious reasons. Drug users, children. Also, blood draw carts are actually an infection risk in some cases. Lastly, hospitals are extremely stranger unfriendly. Every nurse and tech knows who's supposed to be there and who's not. Even when you're a coworker that has been floated from another floor to assist, you are treated as an outsider, and many coworkers still stop and ask you what you need/what you're doing there. This was most likely a flashbulb memory instance, as you were 5 and have a childlike recollection of events, and said yourself that your family/parent is a poor historian.
It's low-key
I hope
crazy
this
how she
provides
still
some
thinks about
reassurance
this.
for you. I'm not trying to diminish what you're saying, just mentioning that from my experience it seems highly implausible. P.S. A doctor saying someone doesn't work, that is also ridiculous, as doctors do rotations, don't stay on one floor permanently, and typically do not know.
Nah, since they said that, bro, she could have been thinking about this, or it actually could have happened. You feel me? Because she was probably asleep. She probably had a dream about this, woke up, and then same reality, she woke up, and she, you know what I mean?
All staff members working in a given unit at a time. Pagan Princess 22 is still fairly active on Reddit, but she hasn't posted any new information about her story. Who knows, maybe one day her mother will come clean about what she knows and will finally learn what happened to OP on that day.
And her mom not telling her? It was probably her mom. Doubt it though. Why would her mom do that?
Poisoned.
Poison.
On May of 2013, a user made a chilling confession on the Off My Chest subreddit with a disturbing title that read, "My mother has poisoned me. Ever since I became an adult about a decade ago, my mother has been against me moving out of the house. I finally got a job as a line cook 3 years ago. My mother and the rest of my family, which includes my sister and father, has been against it, mainly saying that such a job cannot sustain me," which was true. They also said I would hate working, which turned out to be false. About a year and a half later, I quit due to health reasons. The following spring, I got a new job as a computer programmer. While they seemed supportive at first, my mother and sister, who I lived with, gradually became hostile. Eventually, I moved out of the house. About a month later, I lost my job, and about 3 months later, moved back home. Everything was cool at first, but as I was getting calls from recruiters and going to job interviews, they gradually became more hostile again, accusing me of being distant and not caring for them. However, they seemed to be very controlling and hateful of the fact that I wanted to move out and wanted a decent job. So last month, I finally got that job as a computer programmer again, but it was out of town. I had just enough money to relocate to the new city. They became very hostile starting a few days before I left, accusing me of not loving them, of hating them. On the day before I was scheduled to leave, my mother gave me 2 of the styrofoam ramen noodle cups and tore that cardboard covering that—
I'm telling y'all, back in the day, when we were struggling, y'all know these ramen noodles came in clutch. But now, bro, they poison, bro. I'm not actual poison, but for your stomach and all that, bro.
It normally comes with it, and threw it away. I was suspicious that they would try to sabotage my life, so I was careful in not trying to anger them. She gave me a few more food items, which I didn't use, to take on the trip with me. When I arrived at my new city and entered my hotel room, I chilled out. I was to go to work the next day, so after the first day of work, I ate a cup of ramen noodles and felt ill. I knew that feeling because my sister fed me something that made me feel the same way in late 2011, which I then assumed was—
It wasn't poison, but I ate them when they wasn't cooked. I was throwing up, bro, because I don't think you're supposed to eat them like chips.
Because of my recent illness. I felt weak, lightheaded, and short of breath. I drank water to make me feel better because that's what I did last time that happened to me. Over the week, my mother kept calling me, making sure to remind me to eat my ramen noodles.
Yeah, she tried.
I was short on cash then, waiting for my first paycheck. I never told her that I ate it. I suspected then that I had been poisoned, and after doing some Googling, believed it was cyanide. Now, that is something that you should never have to think that your own mother would do that to you. So I resisted that thought because I simply could not bear to think that. So I went to cyanidetest.com and ordered a kit, and I tried it. Now, look at the graphics and the video on this page. Now, here are the results of my test.
Ooh, hold on. Wait, she have it?
My test. I guess I'm going to have to call the cops, and I will—
Dang, she had it. Her parents tried to drug her. Oh my goodness. Bro, my reaction probably seems fake right now, but I'm telling y'all right now, bro,
I'll never speak to my family again.
That's
The results
crazy.
exposed the truth the OP desperately didn't want to believe. He was being poisoned by his own family. Thankfully, the amount of poison in 1 cup of
because
noodles—
she wanted to get mayas. I gotta live too. Man, L family,
wasn't
bro.
enough to be lethal, but eating that second cup could have easily delivered a fatal dose.
Yup.
Luckily, he was able to escape with his life. After reading this
Can't even
post,
trust
the
your own
vast majority of
family.
people urged OP to contact the police and stay away from his family. And that's exactly what he did. Unfortunately, the police weren't as helpful as everyone would have hoped. Update 8:45 a.m. I am currently in Topeka, Kansas. I work downtown in a government office building which has a police department. I visited the Capitol Police Station here and spoke to an officer. I showed him the evidence and he said he could do nothing about it since the package was opened and might have been contaminated. So does anyone have ideas?
What? What you gotta do is you gotta show. Okay, I don't know if she did this or he did or not, but you gotta show the text messages of her mom saying, "Eat the ramen noodles. Make sure to have the ramen noodles." Boom, boom, boom. Then you show the test. Give them the ramen noodles. Make sure they do it themselves. So they, you know what I mean. And then they should take her to jail and all that. But they tripping, bro.
Had things ended here, this could have gone down as one of the most unsettling mysteries in Reddit's history. But unlike other disturbing Reddit threads, this one surprisingly had somewhat of a conclusion. You see, even though this was a throwaway account, OP returned to Reddit in October of 2013 and gave an update on his whereabouts. I was only able to file a police report, but only that so far. The police do not have enough evidence to investigate. I've gotten no contact with my family. I currently live in a cheap motel in Topeka, Kansas. Yesterday, after getting home from work, I work for the Kansas state government as a software developer. The lady at the front desk told me that my mother called them to speak to me. For security reasons, the motel needs both the name and room number, and my mother didn't have my room number. She didn't even attempt to call my cell phone, which makes me believe that she just wanted to know if I was staying there and where. And a few months later, he posted one last comment assuring everyone of his safety. And by the way, I have moved out of state since making my last thread with this account, and am doing very well with a nice job,
That's good,
and am
man.
in better health.
That's good, man.
To think that this story would have taken a
trust
much
your
darker
own
turn if the
family,
OP
bro.
hadn't grown suspicious of the food his own
That's
family
crazy.
gave him on his way out.
Y'all gotta be careful, bro.
Missing coworker.
And she
On the
coulda-
31st of July,
She could have done anything to her though. Like that's just like it's bad, but that's like the bare minimum. If she was staying at their crib, she could have. That mom, dad, whoever could have done anything. If y'all
July
know.
2020, Reddit user SoothBB made a post on the Reddit Bureau of Investigation subreddit seeking clues to help locate their missing coworker. The post read, "On Wednesday, July 22, a coworker of mine abruptly up and left work before the end of his shift and hasn't been seen since. 1 week later, a text message is received from him containing only 3 photos. Does anyone recognize the locations shown in..."
So that's all the way at the right is a cross, or it's just something that looks like a cross. The left looks like him walking into the second photo.
these photos. I work in a lab that makes prescription eyeglasses in northern Ohio. Last week Wednesday, about 6 hours into our 10-hour shift, around 7:10 p.m., a coworker of mine got up from his station in a hurry, left his bag with personal belongings at his desk, iPad, Bluetooth headphones, a prescription, phone charger, a book, and a couple other knickknacks, and walked out the door and didn't return. No one's seen him since. Some of my other coworkers thought he was just sick of the long hours and decided to quit, but that just doesn't make sense why he'd leave behind his personal belongings and not say anything. We tried calling him that same night, but his phone would just ring until it went to voicemail, and by the next morning his phone was turned off. My boss said he got a hold of his mom and that she hasn't seen or heard from him, but didn't seem too concerned as she said he had a history of living somewhat of a nomadic lifestyle in his past. She thinks he may have relapsed and owed someone money or just ran off with some girl. Apparently they aren't very close and don't have the best relationship. I know he had a history of drug abuse, but from everything I've gathered in the 2 years that I've worked with him, he cleaned his life.
So even if he was on drugs, but I know some drug dealers, not personally, but I know some people that at least take their belongings. Like, I don't care if you on whatever, you gonna take your belongings. You feel me?
Up after an arrest in 2014 or 2015 for drug possession and had been clean since. He always acted normal around me and seemed to be living a productive life. On the subject of the pictures, a couple days ago after work, I received a group text message that was sent to me, 2 of my other coworkers, and 6 other numbers I don't recognize. It was from him and contained the 3 pictures I linked, no text. I tried calling and it rang once then went to voicemail.
Yeah,
When I
somebody
called
kidnapped
again, it
him.
went straight to voicemail. This whole thing has me feeling very uneasy and I don't know what to think. Does anybody here recognize the location of where these photos might have been taken? Below this was an Imgur link to these 3 pictures that OP supposedly received from their coworker. All 3 of these pictures looked like someone had taken them in a hurry, while possibly running away from someone or something. If the OP's story was true, it painted a deeply alarming situation. However, most users remained skeptical, and as time passed, more evidence emerged suggesting that this might be a hoax or part of an alternate reality game. $5 says this turns out to be an ARG. For instance, one user tried to extract the embedded data in the 3 images to see if they had any GPS information, only to be met with confusion. I tried extracting the first picture's EXIF data. It says it was shot on iPhone on 7/7/2017, 13:22. It looks like the photos are in the early morning or night. Do you think the 13:22 time is right? 3 years ago also. Interesting.
Yeah.
A few other users also pointed out significant inconsistencies.
Cause didn't she make this Reddit post in 2020? And yeah, those.
And how the OP described the location, stating,
yeah.
"Yeah, I'm not a fan that they just said Northern Ohio. Like, is it Cleveland, Akron, Toledo, Sandusky? Way too broad. Same, I'm from Toledo, and no one ever refers to Northern Ohio. Northwest Ohio, yes. Northern Ohio raised a flag for me too. I'm from Akron, and no one says that. For us, it's Northeast Ohio." A few months later in November, SoothBB returned to Reddit with a new update, and somehow things had grown even more mysterious than they were the last time. I wish I could say we found him or at least closed up any loose ends, but I can't. Shortly after the thread was closed by the mods, a police report was indeed filed. However, in mid-September, I was one of several people that were laid off from the lab we were working at, so if there were any updates on his case after that time, I'm not aware of them. I've done several searches of his name since I left the company to see if any media outlets reported on him, but I personally haven't been able to find anything. The OP also attempted to deny the allegations that the whole thing was made up. Understandably, many people were suspect of my story, and I get that, but I assure you I've not made anything up, nor have I exaggerated details. I got some slack in the original post for not filing a police report. I realize now that even though nobody else was willing to, I should have stepped up and done it myself.
Yeah.
At the time, my perspective was that because I don't know this guy on a personal level outside of work, it really should be up to someone closer to him to do that.
Bro. You gotta yeah, whatever.
But rest assured, a report was filed.
You don't know.
Some people did try to take things seriously and even pointed out the strangely timed layoff. I know this might be far-fetched, but could your former company and boss somehow be involved? The guy disappears from work, your boss tells you shouldn't worry about it, take his belongings, and refuses to access them to help find the guy. Then your boss says he filed a report, but apparently he never did, if the name doesn't come up in the database.
Boss did it, boy.
And finally, knowing you are
Come on
investigating
now.
and possibly asking too many questions or drawing too much attention on the case, he fires you and never contacts you again about this case.
Bro.
I mean... However, due to the inconsistencies in SoothBB's story, the overwhelming majority of users were convinced this was just an attempt at an ARG. I still think it's an ARG. I hope it's an ARG.
What's an ARG?
No offense, OP.
Fake or?
But we will likely never know for sure. Unfortunately, shortly after posting this update, SoothBB deleted their Reddit account, leaving us with no way to uncover the truth.
Dang. Hey y'all, bro. Which one was the worst, y'all think? Loki, I feel like the cyanide one was the worst. Like, that's crazy, bro. The cyanide one was definitely the worst because that's your own family that you've been living with your whole life, and they try to kill you, bro. Really be because I wanted to get money on us, really, because I wanted to get my own living. You feel me, bro? Crazy though, man. Hey, y'all put in the comments on which one was the worst one or the most disturbing, scary one. But hey, man, first video, you know, I hope y'all enjoy. I'm gonna be posting every single day because I'm just a young kid trying to make content for y'all, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I find this mad fun reacting. I'm definitely gonna be doing basketball content too because I love basketball. You feel me? So y'all might see reacting to basketball 1v1s, might even be in some. But yeah, man, God bless. Spread the gospel, man. Stay out of trouble. You know, live a calm, peaceful life. You don't need no ops. You don't need. Just live a calm, peaceful life, bro. And yeah, Z's out. God bless.